Dan Illman, Matt Bernier. Race number Treese on the Preakness Day undercard at Pimlico is the $100,000 Sir Barton Stakes. These are for 3-year-olds going a mile and a 16th that have never won an open sweepstakes. Get involved on Saturday with a DRF Bets account, especially if you like to play by phone. For mobile users, you get a 10% exacta winners bonus on every race at Pimlico on Saturday. Learn more, drf.com/Preakness bonus. Here's the field for the Sir Barton. We've got 2 horses expected to take a good chunk of the money, and we'll begin with the morning line favorite. It's Todd Pletcher, it's John Velasquez, it's the number 3, King for a Day, who is a half to 3 black type earners. Looked good winning his maiden 2 starts back over Kentucky Wildcat, who looked like he was going to be a good 3-year-old before unfortunately being injured. His final start at 2 was the Kentucky Jockey Club, and I'm interested in your thoughts on that race, Matt. I thought he ran great. He made a 4-wide bid entering the turn, actually made the front turning into the stretch, and then just got a little bit tired against a quality field. He's got to deal with the layoff, but in Todd, I trust.
You know, I've soured on the field from the Kentucky Jockey Club a little bit, but to me, there's no question that the biggest effort of that day was King for a Day, because he was close enough or wide to a hot pace. He made the first move into it and just paid the price late. I thought it was a major effort, thinking that you're going to see bigger and better for him as a 3-year-old, and unfortunately, it's taken him some time to get back here. You know, when I look at this race, it's a short field, obviously. He's going to be a heavy favorite, but to me, he kind of looms over this field. It's going to be very difficult to beat him. I did find it a little bit peculiar that you have a turf workout 2 works back down at Palm Beach, and I thought it was just a little bit odd. If you wanted to throw something out there trying to make a case against, makes me wonder a little bit.
Now, the layoff alone is a case, but that's an interesting point as well. The 4 top-line growth is sort of the X factor in this race. 1 start, won by the length of the stretch, quality buyer of 84, positive formulator fact for this barn. Over the past 3 years, 3-year-old dirt horses off maiden wins, 30% winners, 280 ROI. This barn knows where to place these sort of horses first out against winners. This horse has a nice pedigree, a little bit sprint oriented on the bottom, but you don't worry about distance. He already won at a mile and a 16th. The question is, can he cope with a slightly faster pace? Now, I know Timeform US believes it's a blue bar scenario. There's not a lot of pace up front, but boy, did top line growth walk on the lead in his debut.
That's my only real concern. I mean, look, he looked good, but he's supposed to look good when you get out there and you set the fractions that he did, just waltzing on the front end. He looked good finishing down the lane, finished with his ears up like he still could go around another lap. The question now is, you're going to be facing much better horses. Keep in mind, that wasn't a maiden special weight group that he ran against. It was a maiden 40 group, but he was a Maryland bred, so he was in for the waiver tag. They couldn't take him out of that race. He has so many things going against him in his first start against winners, and at 9-5, sure, he's got the highest last out buyer in the field. Boy, if he was 5 or 6 to 1, sure, I'd be enticed. At 9-5, he doesn't do anything for me.
His uncoupled stablemate, the number 2, Pretty Good Year, is stretching out around 2 turns for the first time and is relatively close to this blue bar situation. Made the lead last time out. Run down by Still Dreaming. We know Still Dreaming's pedigree as a half to Nyquist. We'll see him later on Saturday in the Chick Lang Stakes. I think this horse fits from a class perspective. I'm just not completely convinced about the distance, even though his dam is by Kentucky Derby winner Giacomo.
Yeah, I look at it the same way, and I suppose if you're going to get a 2-turn distance, maybe it's at a mile and a 16th, but boy, if you got run down at 7/8 most recently, the longest you've gone is a 1-turn mile. He just doesn't really work for me.
I really wanted to make a case for the 5 Tone Broke for the red-hot Asmussen barn, but you look at this pace projector, he's last off of a slow pace situation. That's a lot to overcome for a horse returning from Dubai. Now, I liked his Springboard Mile. His final start as a 2-year-old. It looked like he was going to try to split horses on the turn, and he just got shut off and was shuffled all the way back to last. He finally got to the far outside and upper stretch, and he came rolling, only beaten 2 lengths by Long Range Toddy, who came back to run 2nd in the Smarty Jones with an 87, 3rd in the Southwest with an 87, and then won the slower division of the Rebel with a 95. Good company, to be sure. Tell me why they went to Dubai, because I can't figure it out.
Well, the only thing I can think is that they really thought they might have something, and I hate to say that they wanted to potentially backdoor their way into the Kentucky Derby, but I kind of feel like that's how we view the sort of UAE path into Louisville. And Unfortunately for them, it was an unmitigated disaster in both races. And I don't know what you want to do with this horse coming back here. To me, he could be the X factor of the race. I suppose if somebody sort of fresh is going to come on and jump up in a big way, maybe it is him. But based on those two races over there, man, it's difficult to recommend him.
At least the Lasix comes back on. I liked what I saw at 2. I certainly didn't like what I saw in Dubai. Let's take a look at our top selections for the Sir Barton. Before we get to them, I want to talk about Try for Gold real quick, because Try for Gold was no match for Always Mining last time out. It's hard to find a 3-year-old in Maryland that's been a match for Always Mining. Try for Gold did his best. He took a shot at that horse, and he finished 12 lengths in arrears. That was a good performance for Try for Gold, and I know he's been chasing slow paces in his races, but he draws inside. Maybe Vargas just goes.
And it's not an apples to apples comparison, but I would at least keep an eye on this horse in this race. Look, if all of a sudden he goes out there and he beats Pletcher and he beats all these other horses, maybe that bodes well for Always Mining, who humbled him in that most recent run. Again, it's not apples to apples because Always Mining's going to be facing much better horses, but Try for Gold, he's not for me in a spot like this, but I'll be curious to see how he runs.
You want to price the 6 VIP ticket, 12 to 1 on the morning line, has finished first in his last 4 races. Perhaps most importantly, 3 of those races came around 2 turns at Charlestown, and he's another horse with a versatile style. Tonebroke doesn't have a lot of speed directly inside of him, so if the 3 and the 4 go, why can't he just park outside those 2?
Yeah, look, and I'm not trying to make a case for him as a very likely winner. I just look at Pletcher's horse and say he's probably going to win. But if I wanted to take a shot with someone, maybe it's VIP ticket. You brought up the 2-turn experience, granted going shorter distances, but I think 2 turns is valuable at this point for a horse like this. And really, you take a look at these 4 most recent wins. They came on the heels of an 8-race losing streak to start his career. They took the blinkers off, and all of a sudden he jumped up. He figured things out. And you go and you watch the way that he finishes these races. His ears are up. He's out there just kind of goofing along, and I think it's because he's just been that much better than the horses he's been running against. He is another case of, you take a look at the difference between the buyers and the time form ratings. The time form ratings, he has the highest last out time form US rating in the field with a 107. I don't know if it's going to end up playing in a spot like this. But if you're telling me he's going to be 12 to 1, I'll take a shot.
Give me numbers.
6-3-4. Admittedly, I think Pletcher's horse is way the one to beat.
I think King for a Day is the horse to beat. This race does kick off a 50-cent pick 4. I'd be leaning fairly heavily on him, and Time Form US believes that he can control the pace. If that pace projector is right, this horse is going to be tough despite the layoff. Short price, not very enticing. 3-4-5-2 for me in the Sir Barton. Remember the Preakness Day deal for DRF Bets members? I like to use their phones. 10% exacta winners bonus, mobile only, on all Pimlico races on Saturday, including the Sir Barton. DRF.com/Preakness bonus is where you go for the details. Approximate post time for the Sir Barton, 11:41 a.m. Eastern. Good luck.